Hey, 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 hey. Boo blasters? Really? Started when we were younger and you were my boo blasters? Really? Netflix and chilling watching The Haunting of Boo Hill? Really? Halloween is a special time of the year in which I would never want to try to tell somebody foreign what this is about. When it comes out of your mouth, it really doesn't make any sense. So I'll just take it from the top. A long time ago, the Celts celebrated Samhain, the end of their harvest, which meant, God damn, it's about to be cold as a bitch, goddamn on God. This time of equinox was viewed as a time where someone left the gate between the death world and the life world open out back. And so they had to make bonfires and do rituals to keep the dead away. Then the Catholic Church became widespread and saw the pagan ritual as just children playing make-believe. Silly peasants. You savages have no souls. They made All Saints Day, honoring the dead who were faithfully in the Catholic religion, to stop them from celebrating Samhain. Because they weren't getting the memo, obviously, the Catholic Church made Hallowmas, or Mass of the Saints, the day before All Saints Day, and then All Hallows Eve the day before that. And because you know how communication works, where words get funky after people keep talking and then people slur their words together, it evolved to Halloween. Kind of the same vernacular story as Juneteenth. The Irish came to America in the mid-1800s and brought the Halloween tradition. Well, the weird old ones like bobbing for apples. Did dentists not exist at this point? They also tricked people, which became threatening. White people, what are you doing? This motivated to treat tricksters so they won't fuck their shit up. This also motivated companies and domestic influencers to market Halloween as a family and children tradition of fun and happy and candy and dressing up as Disney characters. It's kind of weird to think that the darkest mainstream holiday is a holiday that is heavily oriented towards children. Doesn't quite align about the darkness and the death. Yet I see devils just walking around asking for anything but Tootsie Rolls or Dum Dums or Dots. Anything but those. And don't you dare give me candy corn. Even grandmothers know better than that. And this relationship with children and darkness is not only in Halloween. Why do we continue to associate children with darkness? Let's look into theme parks as they do it all the time in the form of dark rides. In the late 1800s, early 1900s, there began to have like old mill love tunnels where guests sat in boats through some area and the guy just may be able to give her a peck on the cheek. Brace yourselves. This in public was raunchy back in the day. Men walked around with persistent blue balls. Marvin Rimfer and Leon Cassidy used the Dodgem car to move riders through a path inside a building to reduce maintenance cost of having a water in a boat, and also reduce potential hazards. This was at Tumbling Dam Amusement Park. Voila, the dark ride was created. An attraction where riders sit in guided individual vehicles through some themed path using props, special effects, and audio, all synchronized to give a somewhat cohesive story. So many parks created haunted houses and laugh in the dark attractions in the early 1900s, many of which were designed by the very popular dark attractions designer Bill Tracy. In 1955, Disneyland opened with Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, Peter Pan's Flight, and Snow White's Adventure, making dark rides not so dark anymore. Highly themed, colorful, stronger plots, and family friendly. Though many dark rides followed suit after Disney's, still a lot of dark rides carried those dark roots. I put my niece on Monster Mansion and she didn't like it. Or me afterwards. I don't know if it was because it was creepy or if it was just something about that Southern life. She had a Black American ethnic itch. Her Blackie senses were telling her, I gotta get the hell out of here. But could these dark rides and other spooky entertainment made for children be beneficial? I mean, I know it's hard to think that Casper's big head could help somebody, but was the Goosebumps truly teaching us more than just that catchy melody? Was there a reason the Hocus Pocus witches sang book like that? Book. Did Larry the Imaginary Friend actually improve the development of children in more ways than interracial relationships? It sure taught Disney that. The Nightmare Before Christmas teach students not to be cultural appropriators? Looking at the music industry today, I don't think it did a good job. Halloween Town ain't teach me shit. Sorry. Let's explore the ways that horror is actually beneficial for children through a dark ride that I used to ride all the time as a kid. Phantom Theater. Enchanted Voyage opened with the brand new Kings Island Amusement Park. It utilized Taft Broadcasting's Hanna-Barbera theme, vomited in the most Hanna-Barbera 70s theme ride score you could ever imagine. I could not work on this ride. I would hear that damn theme song in my sleep. I had another Yogi Bear dream. I would never be able to see another picnic basket in my life. It was essentially a boat dark ride where you enter the TV to visit your favorite Hanna-Barbera characters. It also included a spooky theme area and a circus themed area. It was changed to Smurfs Enchanted Voyage in 1984. Who would have known the little guys would be the ones to take over? I would have thought it would be someone like Scooby or something. Wait. Madness makes madness go away. The music changed to fit the Smurfs. New animatronics were placed inside. The theme circled around holidays like Christmas and Halloween. Sure beats watching the Sony animated films. Kings Island's management stretched and had their morning coffee and said, let's see the maintenance cost reports for Smurfs. Ah! So they took the hint that the Pretzel amusement ride company gave over 80 years ago prior and said, fuck this shit, moving to cars. The water was slooped away and replaced with a Morgan design omnimover system. Kings Island said the Smurfs are dead. Dead, I tell you. I want to see blue shriveled up skin. They ended up with animatronics with blue pale shriveled contorted skin. They're dead. Dead, I tell you. Giving life to Phantom Theater.
My partner, Richard Farron, and we'd like to take you on a backstage tour of the Phantom Theater here at Kings Island. Around 1910 to 1915 is when we created this theater to actually exist. Now these guys here have been running around since that time, kind of turned into phantoms. They refuse to leave or refuse to believe that the vaudevillian era is over, and so that's the feel of the whole thing. These are fully custom characters. There's no characters like this anywhere else in the world. These characters were created specifically for the Phantom Theater. Jason, this is your blind date for next Friday night. Hilda Bovine, one of the stars of the Phantom Theater. Throughout the entire show, what we've tried to do is make a real fun type of show. There's a lot of little twinges of horror and little scary type of things, but all the way through we wanted to have a lot of fun so the whole family can have fun on this. It's for little kids and grown-ups and teenagers and everything else. There's something for everybody, hopefully, all the way through the show. From Boy, Fat Gargoyle.
We haven't had any victims. I mean, murder them here in a long time.
All I say, you have come too far. You have seen too much.
Cheer up, Mindy. Cheer up.
Leaving so soon.
That was really cool.
This ride was like a tour through an old, crumbling opera theater that is now inhabited by the dead. How does Phantom Theater affect children for the positive? Dark fiction can teach children story comprehension in an engaging way. You're trying to tell me mystery books won't help children build skills of research, strategy, observation, picking up context clues, following along, maintaining story details, putting the story in a logical order? Dark fiction and mystery stories are very strong when it comes to this. Actually, my favorite mystery book was those thick textbooks. It was the one story about like how people felt like racism didn't exist after Martin Luther King got shot. It's really the greatest mystery text in all American academia. Although Phantom Theater's plot is not so much linear, it's more so like it's a setup and you have an experience and then you leave. There are some foundational things this attraction does to help teach children about story in a creepy way. The plot goes like this. You enter the line to see it boarded up windows of this dilapidated theater and hearing a screeching cat, or what I call walking through the neighborhood to get to the wings and fried rice place. You enter the theater and there is a queue waiting area with the maestro on the balcony above who plays his organ and rigidly turns around just like you do when you're in the zone at work and your boss asks you to do some task outside of your job description. The maestro says,
Come to see Maestro, have you? You think you're brave enough to go inside? The mystery of the Phantom Theater awaits you through that door.
Whatever he said. I just hope this old man gets the therapist help he needs. You continue into a dark hall where there are posters and modes to get you in the theme. I mean, you'll probably forget about them by the time that you're on a ride, but who can blame them with names like the Great Garbanzo? There are 7-year-olds on this thing. You get to the platform and the ride ops count you out and points to the car that you'll be sitting in right before you bust your ass on the treadmill, which is a turntable floor. What do you think this is, a damn airport? Miss me with these moving floors. You go forth and the maestro tells you to go into the theater as he holds the curtain back for you. You hear screams. One is like a high-pitched opera voice and the other one is gritty and pain, so there's only one thing that could possibly be happening here. Christina Aguilera's inside. You pass each one of these paintings showing the phantom versions behind the painting. So there's Houdini the magician, the Great Garbanzo, the daredevil, this Shakespearean dude, Helga the Viking, whatever. And you would have gotten to this usher which would have been showing me my way, but it has no legs to A-Town stump. When I say go, I won't be in control. That usher has a confession he needs to make. Forget it, just let it burn. There's people checking on lighting backstage, and some grips, one grip in the grips of a rope. Man, I'm cornier than a Chipotle bowl. There's the rehearsal rooms. Helga sings and breaks her mirror. Houdini pulls a demon rabbit from his hat. The usher points us to the stage where the ghost tricks are seasoned in pepper. The acts perform in this big stage scene where you see the ghost form using a large pepper ghost trick, popularized by Disney's Haunted Mansion. The maestro said, "Hold up, wait a minute, y'all thought I was finished." There's a mummy, there's a gargoyle, there's a crying cat and a gigantic mouse, there's a white-faced centurion. The final room is the boiler room. There's 2 workers adding coal to a fire and you actually feel the heat. The ride finishes up and you return to the station area. You exit and fall over when you get to the path that's still. As you're leaving the building, the speakers have the maestro telling us, "You'll be back." Dark fiction can help children cope with fear. Also, when you're an adult and you're with a child and your child is coping with fear, many times irrational fears, it helps the child connect with the adult. Phantom Theater used many devices to help drive fear in the helpless hearts of children. But for the most part, those devices were tame and exaggerated. Well, we can get the main device out of the way, which is darkness, the absence of light. Darkness is an evolutionary fear theorized to frighten humans due to hindering one of, if not the most important human sense, sight. Other devices include strobe lighting, which is at the light fixture scene, which allows riders to see and not see at the same time, making reality almost okay, causing disorder and anxiety. The cold pit and heat representing fire, another evolutionary fear, which is most likely due to a lot of early humans making fire and then getting burnt. It's simple. Pain means danger. The characters themselves are eerie as they belong to another time period, offsetting them with current times, invoking anxiety. And it doesn't help that they are all ghosts, supplemented with Pepper's ghost tricks to show ghostly images and pale skin showing the lack of blood running through their veins. Dark fiction can help expose children to the idea of death. You'd rather sit down with your child and explain, you know, sometimes people get too hurt, or too sick, or just too old that they just don't exist the same way we do anymore. Or would you rather show them a cartoon with a dancing skeleton? Okay, we may be fucking up these kids' minds a little bit, but it's too late now. If my kid wants to learn about death, we're gonna sit together and watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Phantom Theater's entire theme revolved around death. As stated, all of the characters are dead. The maestro clearly is dead, probably had a fight with the embalmer. The magician, the guy hanging upside down on the rope, dead, I tell you. But not only are the people dead, but the theater itself is dead. This theater from the outside has boarded up windows and crows only mean deaths around. Even the ending hints that you'll be back to the theater, but that does not necessarily mean you'll be back in the exact same state of existence you currently are in. As I mentioned before, to help reduce fear for children, and perhaps adults, Phantom Theater used exaggeration. Exaggeration helps children understand that the theme isn't real. I'm not actually in a real abandoned building with ghosts. It's not even an abandoned building. Distinguishing between real and not real is essential in young children, beginning with the distinction between animate and inanimate objects, leading up into discrete appearance reality distinction. Studies suggest children under 6 years old have a hard time distinguishing between appearance and reality. Around 6 and 7 years old, children are better with distinguishing simple appearances but have troubles with reflecting on what objects should look like. Between 11 and 12, children are good at distinguishing between what looks different than the way that they truly are. People become masters and have this tool readily available for them at the college age. Exaggerations include the goofy animated faces, the over-the-top score that sounds like the first draft of the Beetlejuice score that was tossed, lines of characters, especially the maestro, says that are more cheeky than Maleficent, the sets having a scared cat and a giant mutant mouse, the robotic movements of the animatronics. If they had enough money, they could have made it Pirates of the Caribbean realistic. That actually would have been terrifying. The list goes on. The last thing is, horror is just entertaining. As stated when I was talking about coping with fear, Phantom Theater uses a lot of horror tropes. And a lot of these horror tropes just drive a lot of kids to be happy. This comes from thrill seeking. Thrill seeking is an interesting topic because there are many thrill seekers and there's a lot of people that like thrills from time to time. And then there's others that want to avoid thrills at all costs. The fight and flight neurotransmitters dopamine and serotonin, as well as hormone cortisol, gives a sensation that you have the might to survive a threat. Humans engineer many products that maintain safe environments yet provide threatening stakes, which is the basis of all roller coasters. Sound like another video to me. Unfortunately, these dead guys didn't live forever. That was pretty self-explanatory. In 2003, Phantom Theater was transformed into Scooby-Doo and the Haunted Castle. I love Scooby-Doo, but fuck out of here. This introduced interactive elements allowing guests to shoot targets and monsters. And we asked why we have so many school shootings. Let me not get into that. 2010, it was rethemed to Boo Blasters on Boo Hill because Cedar Fair finally wiped their hands free from Hanna-Barbera. Which means those classic Scooby-Doo ghouls were replaced by skeletons. I swear one year in early Fear Fest, Paramount accidentally ordered way too many skeletons, and they just didn't know what to do with them. Some of those skeletons were just ridiculous. I felt like I saw one just sitting there wearing a Bengals cap. But what are your thoughts on Phantom Theater? Did you ride it? Do you miss it? Tears. Or what are the dark rides that are at your home parks or parks that you visited a lot? How do you feel that it connects with children? If you liked the video, please hit that thumbs up, comment below, let me know what you think, share. I'm Rob from Rob's Rides, keeping it 100 with all things amusement. And if you thought I was Wolfie Plays, hit subscribe and I'll come back with a new video.